So of course we're a little bit late on the story, but I have a question about Charlie Kirk. First and foremost, I've listened to quite a few of his debates. I always thought they were pretty hilarious. I thought with Charlie Kirk, very smart with it, individual, always, back with facts. Is somebody that I wouldn't want to personally get into a disagreement or debate with, not unless I was on his side. But I guess what is happening now is the fact that he has been murdered, and that's just like the most horrible thing that I can even think of, to be assassinated for your beliefs in front of your family. That's just wrong. But it's like, yeah, so I want to basically ask the question in regards to Charlie Kirk. A lot of people are saying that he said a lot of foul things, and that somehow your words should justify death. So do any of y'all believe, first and foremost, that anybody should die over their words?
I don't think anybody should die over their words unless their words are directly contributing to the death of other people.
Give an example.
Example, I guess the most extreme would be Hitler. Like I'm like, I don't know how many people he killed himself, but his words sure inspired a lot of other people to do some killing. So, but outside of those extreme, all extreme cases, like no, like I don't think you should be murdered for speaking your opinion. What about you, Don? Damn.
I look at it how we like view Charles Manson. Is that his name?
Yeah, I mean that's one.
Charles Manson, like how he influencing people to kill other people. Like that is what, unless you're doing stuff like that, or like Hitler, like you're technically giving, your opinion. You're having a conversation, a dialogue with someone. You should not be killed over that. I think a lot of people have their feelings involved, and I know he directly talked from a Christian base, and he had a lot of conversation with the LGBTQ plus, as well as Republicans, everybody. But you should not be assassinated for giving your own opinion about whatever topic it may be. He talked about a lot of topics: cartoons, sports, basketball, politics, gender, whatever the case may be. You should be able to have a conversation, just like we're doing now. We should be able to have a conversation. You are going to get mad. You are going to get upset. Somebody's going to piss you off the same way your family does, the same way your friends does. You see a comment online and you get offended. Do that gives you the right to go to the car and grab a gun and shoot somebody, family or not, or whatever the case may be? I think a lot of people have their feelings involved, or it's just tragic. It's just bad. I know a lot of people say he say a lot of racist rhetoric stuff and all that other stuff, but I go back and watch those videos, right? When people share the posts and all the other stuff, 30-second clips, but then you leaving out content. You're not watching the entire thing. The conversation was 40 minutes, 30 minutes, but you only sharing 13-second clips, 40-second clips. Like it's not giving the whole context of the conversation, which can be misinterpreted in any way, shape, or form when you do that, when you share a 30-second clip.
All right, I got a clip. This is one of his DEI, where you have a pilot as a DEI is talking to this black gentleman. But hold on, I'm going to pull this up for y'all to check out real quick.
All right.
Irresponsible statement suggesting that maybe these pilots aren't qualified or unqualified?
No. But I'll tell you exactly what I said and why I said it.
Okay, go ahead.
I said, the pretext, I went through a whole windup. I said United Airlines is saying that they want 40% of all their pilots to be people of color or women. We have learned that we have relaxed standards anytime that we try to reach racial quotas. Anytime we reach racial quotas, we relax the standards. Standards for air traffic control, professors, or college admissions. Therefore, when it comes to pilots or surgeons, If I see somebody who is black, as I said on the show, I'm going to hope that person is qualified. That's what I said, which of course is legitimate, because they're begging the question, we're not hiring based on merit anymore. We're hiring based on race.
Now,
So when you see a black pilot, you wonder, boy, is that person there because they earned it or because they were placed there? That's what DEI does. It makes you ask questions you otherwise would not ask.
so the airline industry is going to take an unqualified person just based off diversity.
Underqualified, not
correction, yeah.
underqualified.
Unqualified, underqualified, whatever, uncertified,
Well,
and put them in a
those are-
cockpit
no.
and risk people's lives.
Those are two different things. Under and un are two different things.
Okay, I had to stop it right there because I
think he
never
was getting
heard
to
this.
a good point. I think he was making a.
Well, no, he's about to explain to this gentleman who's already jumped defensive.
Well, I know.
But to me, it's like he clearly just explained what he meant by DEI. And like I said, I've never seen this clip before. I've heard people talk about it, you know, to make it seem that Charlie Kirk is racist. But if you just listen to what he just said right now, I'm like, well, no, honestly, it's like I can't disagree with that.
Well, how much longer is that clip?
Let's take a look at it.
Of course, United Airlines will not take someone off the side of the street and put them into a pilot. But in order to reach a 40% goal, they might cut corners. They might accelerate the process in order to reach a goal. We know this through all sorts of DEI examinations and projects over the last 10 years. When you have to choose in life, either excellence or racial quotas will end up being the most important, and both cannot simultaneously exist. It's never happened before.
Okay, so when we talk about DEI, well, who benefits the most? Because black people really don't. It's only like maybe 3 to 4% of black people actually benefit from those programs. So who benefits the most?
I'm not sure your question. I mean, theoretically, if 40% of all pilots end up being black people or
But
people of
that's
color.
not. I actually looked it up. It's only like maybe about 6% of
No,
pilots
their
are black.
goal is 40%, right? That's the point. It's like that's actually a great point. So they wanted to go from 6% to 40%. And so you have to wonder, boy, you go from 6% to 40%, there's going to be a relaxing of standards.
Whew. Okay, I guess the way let me see if I can rephrase this. So
think we got it.
essentially when you talk about DEI,
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I don't disagree with what he's saying.
I'm trying to find
It's
a racist.
there's
I
still,
don't disagree at all.
like you said, there's a difference between underqualified and unqualified, which were, you know, the other gentleman, unfortunately, he kept using the words unqualified and then he said uncertified, but he said uncertified as well.
Okay.
And but it's just like words have meaning. So
Right.
you have to use the correct words, and then we all have to understand what this word is. What does this word mean? The word underqualified does not mean, well, again, like I said, you have to, I guess we got to have a concise consensus about the word underqualified, because it could mean, from what I'm sure Charlie Kirk is saying, underqualified could mean he is less qualified than another applicant. But at the same time, does that mean that this person is still not as good of a pilot?
Yeah.
Or is this person not trustworthy to handle the situation if things go left? Which I think is still a good question, because it's like, hey, if I have a quota to meet and I can only hire X amount of white employees, and then from that point I have to hire people of color. And one thing I don't like when people when they are discussing DEI, when the policy of DEI says people of color, everybody immediately assumes that means black people, when there are so many other people of color. And then even in the thing, it said people of color and women. So that's even broader. That's, an even broader pool to pull from. But at the same time, when you have, if you have, a X amount of extremely well documented, well qualified, well experienced pilots, since we're talking about airlines, who have proven that they can, work under pressure. They can figure out the best solution possible. And then you've maxed out the amount that you have, but there's still, potential applicants that are more qualified than what's left. And then that's still assuming that the first group of people that you started hiring were all white and all white males in the first place. Like, who's to say that some of those most qualified people aren't some people of color and women as well?